Neither Better Trades or any of its personnel are registered broker-dealers or investment advisors. I will mention that I consider certain securities or positions to be good candidates for the types of strategies we are discussing or illustrating. Because I consider the securities or positions appropriate to the discussion or for illustration purposes does not mean that I'm telling you to trade the strategies or securities. Keep in mind that we are not providing you with recommendations or personalized advice about your trading activities. The information we are providing is not tailored to any particular individual. Any mention of a particular security is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold that or any other security or a suggestion that it is suitable for any specific person. Keep in mind that all trading involves a risk of loss, and this will always be the situation regardless of whether we are discussing strategies that are intended to limit risk. Also, Better Trades personnel are not subject to trading restrictions. I and others at Better Trades could have a position in a security or initiate a position in a security at any time.
Good morning. Welcome out to the Weekend Insights. And let's get to where we're supposed to start. Hope you're all having a great weekend. And everything's going smoothly. So far this week it is for me this weekend. And hoping it'll keep up that way. So the last couple of weekends have been a little chaotic. So that's life, right? It happens. Market gets chaotic. Life gets chaotic. Everything is. So it's funny how things translate. And life and trading really are synonymous. They're kind of one and the same, basically. So, and that's one thing that's interesting. So I find it very, very interesting. But I love this quote, and I found this just the other day. It's obviously a little tiny kitten, and then it sees itself in the shadow of the mirror there as a big lion, tiger, and I think it's true, right? We have to have faith in ourselves, and that's exceedingly true when it comes to trading. You've got to believe that you're capable of doing it. You've got to believe that it's possible. And you've got to believe that you can change and learn and do the things necessary to get to a place from a mindset perspective and an analysis perspective, mostly getting your mindset in the right place to where you can do it effectively. And it's interesting, I just started, it's been a few days now, at least, maybe a week, a book on habit. And it's very intriguing. So I was listening last night, and some of the stuff was just hitting me about how habits never die. I think I talked about this the other day. Habits don't ever go away. In fact, you basically have to override or start a new habit. But if you ever fall back to the old habit, it's going to come right back up because it's never gone. It's always there. And I was listening to more of this last night, and they were talking about there's a cue. We all have habits, and they're talking about it, a lot of it's from a perspective of marketing and selling product and creating product and getting the message out and creating habits in people to get them to buy a specific product day in and day out. And one of the examples they use is toothpaste. And back in the old days, people didn't used to brush their teeth like we do today, right? And I didn't know this because I grew up, you brush your teeth twice a day, in the morning and night, 2 minutes at a time, and didn't necessarily follow that, but we knew that's what we were supposed to do because that's the way we were brought up to believe. That's just what you do. It's just a habit, right? Well, apparently back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, I don't know when it actually started, when the whole thing started, but it wasn't something that people did on a regular basis, brushing their teeth. And then they... I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole, but I find it intriguing. Pepsodent came out, and they created a new formula, and they thought it was going to be good, and they went out to market it. Well, they weren't succeeding. It flopped. And then the guy that was in charge of it got one more shot at it, and what they realized was that they needed some kind of trigger, that what creates people's habits. If you got to create a habit of brushing your teeth every single day, because obviously if you're trying to sell toothpaste, you want people doing it frequently. Because the more often they do it, the more toothpaste they're going to use, right? And the more product they buy. And so what they discovered is that if they put citric acid and mint inside the toothpaste, which apparently the other brands didn't have that, if you put citric acid, it creates a tingly feeling, and the mint creates a fresh feeling. And so they went out and gave it to people and went, wow, and they talked about brushing your teeth before you go to bed. And people got in the habit of feeling that when they felt that little tingle in their mouth and that minty fresh feeling, they felt like it was clean. And that little tingle became something they craved. That was the cue. See, there's three parts to a habit. There's a cue, the routine, and then the reward. There's something that triggers the idea that I need to do this. There's the routine, what you actually do in the process of it, and then there's the reward. And I'm thinking of this last night when I heard about it and trying to put it in trading context. But you think about the brushing your teeth thing. It's like, okay, if you are getting ready to go to bed and you haven't had that tingly, fresh feeling in your mouth, all of a sudden there's the cue. You go, I don't have that. I felt it last night. Maybe last night was the first time you brushed and you went, wow, there's that tingly, fresh feeling. I need to get that again. And so it creates that cue. There's that craving to have that feeling. And so you go to the routine, you brush your teeth, you do the brushing, and then the reward is you have that fresh, tingly feeling. You go to bed feeling clean, your teeth do. And the question is, how do we translate and how do we create that kind of habit with respect to trading? How do we go from, we have a cue, okay, here's a trading setup. Here's a cue to what's the routine? And then what's the reward? The reward should be at the end a good positive feeling. You should feel good about your trade. And this is where, my first initial thoughts were, if you rethink what is a good trade and a bad trade, if you change your perspective on, okay, I lost money on that trade, but it was a good trade because I had a plan going in, I stuck to the plan, I did what I was supposed to do. And yes, I lost some money, but you know what? It was only a small chunk of money. And I feel good about that because if you're like me, you've had big losses. You've made massive mistakes and you've watched options expire worthless, or you've lost 80 or 90% of what you had there. If you've experienced that, you know how that feels. So it actually, if you retrain your mind and you think from a different perspective and you go, you know what? I only lost $100 on this one. I only lost 10 or 20% of what I put in. I didn't lose 80 or 90 or 100. And instead of thinking, oh, I lost, you think, you know what? I lost, but it was a good trade. And so your perspective and your mindset changes, and all of a sudden you start to feel good. So now the cue is, here's the trading opportunity. The routine is, here's the plan. I'm getting the odds on my side. And the reward is a positive feeling because I just placed a good trade. Whether you made money or lost money doesn't matter. You should feel good about that trade if you did what you're supposed to do. And so it's a matter of developing that habit. And I'm literally thinking about, and if you want to email me, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I'm thinking about putting together a class about this specific topic. I just need to organize my thoughts and try to figure out how to make it make sense from a trading perspective. But as Insight subscribers, you're the first ones to hear about a lot of this stuff because like I had one last year that he subscribed and he sent me an email and he said, I realized that we're kind of your guinea pigs, your test bunnies. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you bounce ideas off us and you test the waters with us to see if it's something that we're going to like. And I'm like, well, okay. Is that a bad thing? He goes, no, it's great. He goes, I love it. Because then we're kind of on the front end. So if you would like to have information on that, if you would like my perspective and my opinion and some more stuff about that and how to change your habits and develop good trading habits, if that you'd like that, I'd love to have an email from you. If you don't have my email address, it's asktony@bettertrades.com. So it's just asktony@bettertrades.com. So I'll probably do it anyway just for fun because it's interesting. And I always, usually when I put something like that together, I'm learning something myself anyway. So, but I think, and I'm always going to check the, I've rambled on long enough about that. I check to make sure the audio is there. I don't have my external screen today. So I've done this before where I've recorded 30 or 35 minutes and then I looked down and the recording wasn't going. So I just spent 35 minutes talking to nobody and not recording anything. Anyway, looking out to next week, go through this fairly quickly, especially now that earnings are winding down. We got 16th, 17th Tuesday, we got core CPI, real earnings. A lot of this stuff I'm not even familiar with. Cleveland CPI, I never get that. U.S. foreign buying, T-bonds. There's a lot of economic data that didn't used to be here. Housing starts. Obviously, that could affect the housing sector. Philly Fed, nothing that big. Nothing really significant coming out. What's really the only big things anymore are pretty much unemployment. And that's not the only things, but a lot of the economic data is just being brushed over nowadays. When everybody's happy and everything's fine, nobody really pays attention. If things get shaky and the market gets shaky, then people will start paying attention. They'll make big deals out of it. Or maybe it's just I don't pay as close attention as I used to. I used to watch the economic data like a hawk, and then I realized it's really not affecting my trading. So I'm wasting time and energy on something that's not affecting the results of my trading. So why am I gonna waste time and energy on something that doesn't benefit me? So looking through earnings, just looking for familiar names. Fuel Systems, JD.com. That's been on the radar for some reason the last few weeks. Moby. No, nothing on Monday. See if there's anything else. So we're winding down. I mean, there's not a whole lot of earnings left. Home Depot on Tuesday. Jack in the Box. I thought Jack in the Box was part of Yum. I guess not. They are their own entity, huh? JA Solar apparently is. Wow, that's kind of weird. 3 different companies. I don't know why they have it listed 3 times, but Walmart, really, and TJX. TJX is a big clothing retailer. Of course, Nordstrom and was it Best Buy? Nordstrom got trashed on earnings. What, Thursday? I think they gapped down big time. No, it was Friday because there was one candle there. It gapped down and then rallied all day, but it was still down big on the day. I got to go look now because now I'm curious. JWN. Yeah, they were down 950 on the day. They closed at 63.50 basically. They opened about 51. 63.50 down to 50. They gapped down $13 on earnings. And then I think it was Best Buy. No, it wasn't Best Buy. Was it Target? Target got pounded. I wonder what Walmart did. Retailers are getting beat up. I mean, I don't know what. I can't remember exactly what happened. Oh, look, what those Walmart the earnings coming out? That'll probably go down. It was J.C. Penney. That's what it was. Whoops. Yes, J.C. Penney. Oh, maybe it wasn't that. What was it? I don't remember. But one of the other retailers got beat up along with Nordstrom. Oh, there was ADHD. On Tuesday, the first company that came out. I'm tempted to go back, but for time's sake, I'm not going to. That first company I saw was ADHD. They should change the name of the company to TONY. The symbol could say ADHD, but oh, I keep forgetting about that video. I should find that and put it up here. Yeah, most of these are no names. We got Home Depot and Walmart are the 2 biggest names. DQ, that's not Dairy Queen. You tell where my mind's at right now. It's always looking for sugar. Lots coming out on Wednesday, but I don't see any big names yet. KMP, Kinder Morgan. It's not a huge name, but L Brands. LB, that is, I'm not getting that mixed up, am I? I'm pretty sure. No, that's it's clothing. They own Victoria's Secret and a bunch of other companies like that. They have clothing lines, all kinds of stuff. I'm pretty sure that's L Brands. I'm trying to think of what else there is. They're basically a clothing company. But I think Victoria's Secret is their biggest one. It's the most profitable, right? Because that's something that it's like makeup. I mean, women will buy that stuff all day long, every day. Sirius Satellite, Sirius XM, Sohu. That's come up on the radar. TGT. There's Target. So Target and Walmart are both coming out this week. Looks like Tuesday and Wednesday. Is that confirmed? Yes, it is. It's in the morning, Tuesday morning. So Target and Walmart, I don't know when Walmart was coming out. I didn't look, but they're either back to back or one's going to be after the market, one's going to be before. So they're both, it's kind of like Microsoft and Amazon and what was the other one? Microsoft, Amazon, and Google all coming out basically the same day. There's TriQuint Semiconductor. One of the semiconductors came up on the radar this week. It wasn't TriQuint, but Yoku. That was Wednesday. EMX. Market's gotten interesting. Dropped off pretty heavy the last couple days, Thursday, Friday. And it was kind of what I was looking for, and it's approaching that 2,000 level again. So the question becomes, will it hold the 2,000 level, or will it go crashing right through? Excuse me. And that's really what I'm looking for. Autodesk. It's been a pretty big mover the last few months, or at least it was a couple times when I was looking at it. Baba, there's Best Buy. So quite a few retailers coming out this week. I mean, Walmart, Target, and Best Buy, 3 pretty big ones. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see. Not necessarily waiting. There's Costco as well on Thursday. Not been confirmed. 3 a.m. Really? Oh wait, yeah, 3 a.m. Not confirmed. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know if Costco's actually coming out or not. Um, Dollar Tree. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the market doesn't hold 2,000. Then there's the Gap, another retailer, big retailer, right? Clothing company. Um, Pretty confident the market will drop fairly quickly if it breaks right through the 2,000. I think it's probably going to hold it. I think you'll find some support there into it. International Paper, International Rectifier, those are three big companies. They're not, they're not the traders that we normally see, but they're big companies. So there's still some fairly big name companies coming out this week, even. Um, I mean, it's less than the last couple weeks, but still pretty good. RFMD, Rig, Transocean, Ross Stores, another retailer. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we hold that 2,000 level or not. Taro Pharmaceuticals. Some of the pharmaceuticals and biotechs look like they're bouncing some. They had some buying interest the last couple days. Valero, big oil company. Workday, that's coming. Williams Sonoma. Zulily, another retailer. So it's interesting to see some of the pharmas and biotechs turning bullish when the market's turning bearish, which we've always kind of looked at that, right? They're a safe haven. People are going to take their drugs. If the economy's bad and you got to take drugs to stay alive, you're going to take your drugs, right? You don't have to buy an iPhone. You don't have to buy clothes, but you certainly have to buy your drugs, right? Abercrombie and Finch, another big clothing retailer. Are these, yeah, the 20th. Some of these seem like they were on last week, but there's so many of these that are unconfirmed. They could have been on last week and they're showing up. There's Dry Ships. That used to be a big high flyer back when things were cooking, 05, 06, 07. But that's because there was so much stuff, so much stuff being freighted across the ocean from China to here. And it sounds like it slowed down quite a bit. It used to be, I remember talking to somebody about shipping stuff over there when I was in the pet furniture business. It was crazy guy goes, you can ship stuff over there for virtually nothing, because they were sending ships back that were basically empty because they had so much stuff coming in. They'd have a freighter completely full, and then there were so few things going back the other way. They were almost giving it away because like they just wanted something to take back because there was plenty of space. There's no demand and tons of supply, so it was dirt cheap. But there we have it for earnings. Shut that down and go look at some charts real quick. There's not a ton to tell. I mean, other than the fact that we dropped off this last week. We had a pretty solid drop. We started off on Monday down, then Tuesday we stalled out, and then the last 3 days we've actually kind of accelerated, really. And the volume picked up a little bit yesterday. Basically, Mariposas, we had a little tiny tick up at the end of each day, Thursday and Friday. So an average volume and then a little acceleration yesterday in volume. So we got that 2,000 level on the S&P that was resistance here a couple times, and when it broke out of it, used it as support. So that should be recognized. If it goes crashing right through it, if it goes crashing right through it on Monday or Tuesday even, then I would get more bearish. But as of right now, I'm still kind of neutral. We'll see what it does with that 2,000 level. If it holds it, then we might have another bullish run up to the upside. If it doesn't hold it, then all bets are off. So Nasdaq's gonna be very similar. We got the about the 4,900 level. Let's see. Yeah, that's what's weird. I hate getting too many lines on here. Let me just drag this one up. But there's there's a couple right in there in the same area. So the question becomes which one's stronger. And really, that 4,900 could be a support. I'd say 4,800 is probably more solid. So, but that's Nasdaq, and they don't pay real close attention to that. And the Nasdaq and the Dow and the S&P have all been basically the same. It's the transports that now have turned bearish again. We've got a lower high, lower low on a very short-term basis. Intermediate term, we're still neutral, basically sideways. Russell has almost turned bearish again. Well, we haven't yet. We still have a higher high on a short-term basis. We don't yet have a lower low, but we had acceleration of volume Thursday and Friday, so that looks bearish. And then the VIX has popped up above, just barely above 20. It's basically right at 20. So um, whether this means anything or not, it hasn't accelerated like it did back here in August. But we could have the beginnings of this. So we could also have what we had back here. We popped up a little bit and then we dropped back off. And we never know, right? It's always 50-50. So it's a question of preparing and being ready for whatever comes, whether it's up or down or sideways. So, but it's starting to look better now. I think the action in the market's getting a little bit better. I know it's dropping off, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's looking better. so you just want to see it go down. Well, when I'm bearish overall, yeah, I'm not excited about the upside. When I think the larger picture is the economy's not that strong, it's getting weaker, and I think longer term we're going to be bearish, I'm not excited about taking bullish trades. Even though they're short term, I still want to stay on the side where the trend and I think the momentum is going to be going to and accelerating. Not to mention the fact in August, back here when things did take off, I know people that had bullish trades and they got crushed in them because they weren't prepared for that kind of drop. And honestly, I was on the other side of the market, so I was extraordinarily happy when that happened, and a lot of people were boohooing. And some of them got out in time, but they still got beat up worse than expected. So I don't want to get caught in that again. I'm expecting something like that again, possibly very soon. I don't know. We'll see. I think Christmas season may be a big tell. If retailers, and that may be what the reaction is to the retailers, is that the pre-Christmas stuff or the expectations for Christmas shopping is not maybe that great. I don't know. So we'll see. Just watch the charts and keep track and do our thing. So that is it for this one. We'll be back shortly with the big guys. Bye-bye for now.